Imagine removing every NVIDIA GPU from the world. The headlines would be immediate. The stock market would react. Technology companies would panic. But eventually, new hardware would appear. Another company would build faster chips. Another factory would manufacture better silicon. Hardware can be replaced. The real question is, can the software? Because beneath every AI breakthrough, another system quietly operates, invisible, persistent, deeply embedded. Most people believe NVIDIA became powerful by building better chips. But beneath the surface, the company's greatest invention was never hardware. It was an ecosystem so complete that millions of developers built their future around it. And once an entire industry depends on your language, competition becomes something very different. When people study NVIDIA, they usually begin with hardware, the GPU, the gaming industry, the AI boom, the trillion-dollar valuation. These are the visible layers, and visible layers attract attention because they are easy to measure. More performance, more memory, more computing power. But systems rarely become dominant through performance alone. Performance attracts customers. Infrastructure keeps them. Every durable monopoly eventually discovers the same principle. Products create transactions. Platforms create ecosystems. Ecosystems create dependency. And dependency compounds over time. Because every new developer writes another line of code. Every new application strengthens the platform. Every optimization makes leaving more expensive. Eventually, the product stops being the advantage. The ecosystem becomes the moat, and that changes everything. Every technological revolution creates a new foundation. Factories created industrial empires. Oil powered the 20th century. The internet connected the world. Artificial intelligence introduced something different, a dependency written in software. Because AI is not built by hardware alone. Hardware performs calculations. Software tells hardware what those calculations mean. Without instructions, silicon is silent. Without software, performance has no direction. This is where most people stop looking. They compare processors, benchmark scores, memory bandwidth, power efficiency. But beneath every benchmark, another layer quietly determines the outcome. The software layer, the developer layer, the ecosystem layer, and eventually, that invisible layer becomes more valuable than the hardware itself. Because replacing a chip is difficult, replacing an entire ecosystem is something else entirely. Behind NVIDIA's dominance, three systems quietly reinforce one another. The first is the programming platform. CUDA gives developers direct access to the massive parallel power inside every GPU. The second is optimization. Thousands of software libraries, countless engineering refinements, years of accumulated performance improvements. The third is the developer ecosystem. Universities teach it, researchers publish with it, startups build upon it, technology companies deploy it. Every new developer strengthens the platform. Every new application expands the ecosystem. Every new breakthrough reinforces the standard. Most companies compete by selling products. CUDA competes by becoming the environment where products are created. Because software shapes habits. Habits become workflows. Workflows become institutions. And institutions rarely change overnight. The result is extraordinary. Millions of lines of AI software quietly assume one thing: CUDA will always be there. Most people believe monopolies are protected by patents. Others believe they are protected by market share. Both explanations miss something deeper. The strongest monopolies are protected by dependency. Dependency built slowly, one developer at a time, one research paper at a time, one startup at a time, one data center at a time. Every tutorial teaches CUDA. Every framework supports CUDA. Every optimization assumes CUDA. The ecosystem quietly grows, not through advertising, but through usefulness. Eventually, millions of engineers begin speaking the same technical language. Changing hardware no longer solves the problem because the software remains. Applications must be rewritten, models must be revalidated, workflows must be redesigned, entire engineering teams must learn new tools. The visible cost is replacing the GPU. The invisible cost is replacing accumulated knowledge. And accumulated knowledge is one of the most expensive assets in technology. This is why ecosystems outlive products. Products become obsolete. Infrastructure evolves. But ecosystems continue compounding long after the original innovation has disappeared. And that is where NVIDIA built its deepest moat. Not inside silicon, inside human behavior, inside developer habits, inside the architecture of modern artificial intelligence. Every major technology company understands NVIDIA's dominance. Every cloud provider wants an alternative. Every government wants technological independence, which raises an obvious question: why not build another CUDA? The answer reveals the true nature of software infrastructure. Writing software is easy. Replacing an ecosystem is not. Because software does not exist alone. It lives inside documentation, inside tutorials, inside research papers, inside developer communities, inside production systems. Every replacement begins with optimism. Engineers migrate a small project. The benchmark looks promising. Performance appears competitive. But reality slowly emerges. Libraries are missing. Optimizations behave differently. Compatibility breaks. Unexpected bugs appear. Deployment slows down. Engineering costs rise. Momentum disappears. The visible challenge appears technical, but beneath the surface, the real challenge is behavioral. Millions of developers already know one language. Changing that language requires changing habits. Changing habits requires changing institutions, and institutions rarely move quickly. Eventually, the migration costs more than staying. The competitor may build comparable hardware, but hardware was never the hardest problem. The ecosystem was.
Many people believe better products create market leaders, but history tells a different story. The strongest platforms rarely win because they are perfect. They win because they become familiar. Familiarity creates trust. Trust creates adoption. Adoption creates dependency. Dependency creates gravity. And gravity attracts even more participants. Eventually, every new developer chooses the largest ecosystem. Every new company builds where talent already exists. Every new researcher publishes where collaboration is easiest. The cycle reinforces itself, again and again and again. This is no longer competition between graphics processors. It is competition between ecosystems. One ecosystem expands. The others struggle to catch up. Because ecosystems compound. Products depreciate. Performance improves every generation. But accumulated knowledge becomes exponentially more valuable. And that changes everything. NVIDIA did not simply build faster hardware. It built the environment where artificial intelligence learned to grow.
The biggest lesson is not about GPUs. It is about architecture. Most businesses compete for customers. The strongest businesses become infrastructure. Customers can leave products. Entire industries rarely leave ecosystems. This is the mindset shift. Stop asking, how do I build a better product? Start asking, how do I become part of everyone's workflow? Stop asking, how do I attract users? Start asking, how do I become impossible to replace? Because ecosystems create leverage. Leverage creates dependency. Dependency creates resilience. And resilience compounds into enduring power. The companies shaping the future are rarely selling the most visible products. They are quietly building the invisible layers beneath them, the layers everyone depends upon, the layers almost nobody notices until they disappear. Most people focus on what they can see: the GPU, the benchmark, the product launch, the quarterly earnings, the market valuation. But beneath every technological revolution, another system quietly operates. An invisible layer, a software layer, an ecosystem layer, relentlessly expanding, relentlessly improving, relentlessly increasing dependency. Because products create attention, platforms create adoption, but ecosystems create permanence. That is why the world's most valuable companies no longer compete to build better products. They compete to become the foundation beneath everyone else's products. Because foundations are difficult to replace. Standards are difficult to challenge. And ecosystems become stronger every time someone else builds upon them. This is the real lesson behind NVIDIA. The greatest moat was never the silicon. It was the software surrounding the silicon. It was the developers, the tools, the workflows, the accumulated knowledge. Together, they became an invisible operating system for the artificial intelligence era. Because the future is rarely controlled by the company with the fastest hardware. The future belongs to the company that becomes impossible to leave. This is Silicon Capital, decoding infrastructure, understanding power. NEXERA, decoding systems, architecting wealth.